Alright guys, it's Brummy Joe here and welcome to my first prediction video. So this is going to be the championship predictions for the 17-18 season, which are actually going to start tomorrow. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy in the whole of the championship, and I think this year is like the hardest to call for many years. So take my suggestions with a pinch of salt. So this is just my opinion and you can have yours and you can pop that in the comments, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can. Now if you do like the video, make sure you drop a like as it helps me out loads on my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go on with these predictions. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. I think it's more exciting that way, you know what I mean? So, 24th we have got Millwall. Now Millwall came up via a dramatic player final where the fans ended up running onto the pitch. Caused a bit of controversy. It is a team I love to see back in this league, but I don't think they're going to remain there. That's just my opinion. I sort of hope that they do, because they're a proper club. They're a real proper club. They've got a bad reputation, but I'm going to be going there for the first time this year. We're going to be vlogging it, and hopefully it's really exciting. I know I do have a subscriber who's a Millwall fan, so if you want to let me know in the comments where you think you're going to come, let me know. They're a strong team coming up, like in terms of determination, but I don't think the quality's there, and I think that's going to show in the championship. I don't think they're going to be able to compete. Next up in 23rd, the next team to get relegated I've got is Bolton. That's the second team to go straight back down, and again I just don't think they've got the depth. I don't think they've got the quality to survive in the championship. Now maybe a few years ago if you come up it's a bit easier to stay at, but it's got so competitive now and it really is one of the toughest divisions to stay in and to get out of. They've brought in a couple of faces like Sammy Amiobi, but I don't think they've got enough really. Yeah, I don't think they've got enough quality. Simple as that. Next up, the final relegation place. Now, it's controversial and it's a team that I don't want to get relegated, but it is Burton Albion. Yeah, so far in the transfer window, Burton really haven't been setting the world alight either. They've let go of a couple of players, but yeah, they kind of flirted with relegation last season, and I feel like if they don't bring in a signing, a quality signing, they're not going to stay in the league. It's too competitive. Next up, we've got QPR, and that's one of Harry Redknapp's old teams. They used to be one of the best teams in the championship, and they're sort of, you know, we all thought they were going to go up. They got this money coming in, they had Taraps, you know, that kind of thing, and now they just seem to have disappeared into the background, and they just seem to be flirting with relegation, getting closer to it. I've got them to just survive relegation. I mean, they only just survived relegation last season, and that was a really tight battle. Next up, we got Bristol City. Now, last year they had a good season. They got Tammy Abraham, which was a cracking signing. Now he's at Swansea, obviously, but with the loss of Abraham, it's really big boots to fill. And they've brought in, what's his name? Diedio. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He cost 5 million, so he must be an alright striker. So obviously they've tried to fill that role. So that's why I sort of think they won't go down. Aidan Flint and Brian, I think it's Joe Bryan. The left back and centre back partnership. Harry Redknapp's trying to get them as well. So if we don't get them, someone else will. I think Leeds were looking at them as well. So that's why they brought Nathan Baker in from Villa, which was a good signing, I think. But yeah, they've only made 3 signings as well. I think they're going to finish 20th. I don't think they're going to be doing any better than that, really. I think the main thing for Bristol City is life after Tammy Abraham, because he scored so many goals for them. Can they survive without him? And if they can, then they're a sustainable club and they can continue to grow, because I mean loans like Tammy Abraham don't come around very often. Next up, we got Barnsley in 19th place, and do I feel sorry for Barnsley? Seriously, like, we've taken Mark Roberts off you, Villa have taken a couple of players off you, like, they keep losing these players. I haven't seen any major transfers from Barnsley, and it's going to be really hard for them to replace the players they lost before. It's going to be really hard for them to have a good season without the players that they've let go of, and they have let go of some really good players. Like, I've seen Mark Roberts play for Birmingham. He's going to be one of our best players. Mick McCarthy's team. Mick McCarthy's like my favourite person in the world. They're a bit like Blues. They're trying to bring in players. It's not quite working. They've let go of a couple. I don't see him doing that well. I don't know why. I think 18th is a good place for Ipswich Town. I mean, Mick McCarthy's a good manager. You know, he sets teams out so they're really hard to beat. But I just don't think they have enough at the attacking end of the pitch in the final third to really push them any higher than 18th. Next up in 17th, we have got Sheffield United. And I'm predicting them to have quite a good season after coming up from Division 1. They won the league with 100 points last season, which shows they've got a real strong side compared to the other ones. They haven't made that many signings yet, but I can see them making a couple more in the future. You know, I think a lot of teams are leaving it a bit later. I don't know why. I've got a hunch for Sheffield United. I just feel like there is always one team that does quite well when they come up, and I think Sheffield United is going to be one of them. But yeah, moving on, we've got in 16th place, we've got Nottingham Forest. Now, they have just lost Britt Assombalonga for 15 million, and I think that is some good bit of business for Nottingham Forest, because the guy was injured quite a bit, and I think 15 million is really good. And I think Harry Redknapp was moaning about the cost of it. You know, that him going for 15 million has changed Jordan Hughill's price from 2 mil to like 6 mil. They've brought in Daryl Murphy from Newcastle. Now, we were linked with him as well. He's a championship goal scorer. I don't care about his age. With a goal scorer, I mean, look at Kevin Phillips back when he played for Birmingham. You don't need to be young. You don't need the legs. As long as you know where the goal is, that's 90% of the job. Just get in the right place at the right time. And I think Daryl Murphy can be one of them. I'm not saying he's Kevin Phillips. I'm not saying he's Brett Assombalonga. But I think he can do enough for him. I do think they underachieved last season. They were almost relegated. And I don't think it's going to be that bad for them again, because I think there was a lot of managerial changes last year for them. But they've got Mark Warburton. I hope that is his name. I think they're going to steady the ship a little bit. Finish 16th. Look to build in the next season. And I think that'll be an alright season for them, really. Next up, we've got Brentford. Now, I wasn't quite sure where to put Brentford. Brentford had a decent season last year, finishing 10th. But they've lost Scott Hogan to Villa, I think, who went in January. I think they're going to do okay. They're a good team. I just can't really see them pushing up the top end of the table. So I'm going to say the top end of the bottom half. Up in 14th, we've got Cardiff. Now, this mid-table kind of section is really difficult to pick out, because there's a lot of teams in here that are really similar clubs, similar kind of players, amounts of money to spend, that kind of stuff, and it's hard to separate them. I can see Cardiff doing better than Brentford. Now, that is based on zero fact, but that is just what I'm predicting. Let's move on from Cardiff anyway. I'm sorry if you're a Cardiff fan, but I've not got much to say about them. I think they're a good club. I love the away day in Cardiff. But as for predictions, I'm not sure where to put you, I'm afraid. Now, in 13th, I've put Preston North End. Last season was very good for Preston, I must say. They finished 11th, and I wasn't expecting it from them. I really weren't. I think they were a surprise package, because they could have finished even higher, to be fair. Jordan Hugill had a good season for them. We've been after him. Can they hold on to him? I think for them to finish 13th, I've got them holding on to him. They could maybe finish higher, they can maybe finish lower, but I can see them creeping just around the middle of the table. I don't see them being in trouble this season. 12th place, we have got Hull City. Hull seem to be selling their best players, and it's like they can't afford to. I don't know what Hull are doing, honestly. They're selling Curtis Davis to Derby. They're selling El Mohammadi to Villa. I'm surprised they've kept hold of Abel Hernandez, because they seem to be selling everyone, and I think he might be next, hopefully, to Birmingham. Just going to put it out there. I can't see him doing much better than 12th, 11th, that kind of area. I've put him 12th because they're selling everyone, and I can see him continue to sell. They need to buy players, and quick. The season's starting. Come on, do you want to get back in the Premier League or not? They're a good, but they are a good away day, so I'm happy they're back. They're a nice, simple, easy away day. Car park right next to the ground. You walk in, you go home. It's a bit of a drive though, I must say. Next up, I've got Sunderland. Now, 11th place for Sunderland. I don't think their fans will be happy with it. Let's put it that way. They've signed James Vaughan. Now, this guy's a very interesting player for me, because he played for Birmingham, right? Now, this guy's meant to be a Birmingham fan, apparently. I think he is. And he came to Blues, and it was like his dream come true. But he couldn't hit a barn door. We tried to give it him in pre-season. We were like passing him the ball, like, shoot! He just didn't want to score for us, right? I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the pressure, it's the Blues, it's your own team. He could not score. He couldn't hit a barn door. But we send him off to Bury, to Lee Clark, mighty Lee Clark, and he just bags 20 odd goals in League One. And Sunderland took a look at him and said, we'll have him. Now, I wish him all the best, because I think he's a really good bloke, and I felt so bad for him at Blues when he just wasn't scoring. So I think he's going to be a 10, 12 goal player, but that's not bad. If he can get in his shooting boots and his confidence straight away, maybe he can get more. But I think Vaughan is a confidence player. If he goes for a while without scoring, he's going to start worrying you, and he's going to not be able to handle the pressure, in my opinion, because I think that might be what happened at Birmingham. So they got rid of David Moyes, they brought in Simon Grayson, who is a decent manager. Now, Grayson did a good job last year, a very good job getting Preston to where they finished, like mid-table, 11th, I can't remember. But I think he can do a job with Sunderland. However, I don't think they've got the resources to finish in the top 6, which is probably where they're aiming for. When you look at this money that's being spent, look at the money that's being spent in the Championship now. It's crazy. They're not spending enough money. They've sold Jordan Pickford for 30 million, right? I ain't seen any of that money go back into the club. I don't know who your owner is, but put the money back into the club. Because you want to be in the promised land. I hope though, I really hope Sunderland have a good season. Because Newcastle, it was a breeze really for Newcastle. And they're coming down and they're seeing the harsh reality of it. Anyway, next up, 10th place. And it's a number I'm used to seeing Birmingham finishing. We finished 10th place 2 seasons in a row before the whole Zola episode. Let's forget about the Zola episode, right? I don't want to make this too long. I'm going to talk about Birmingham for a bit longer. Just because my channel is sort of based around Birmingham. What happened last season? Can we have a talk? What happened? Gianfranco Zola. I don't care how nice a man you are, Zola, right? I don't care how nice you are. He's a lovely guy. Reporters outside his house, he makes him a cup of tea, right? He's Italian. My dad's Italian, alright? It's nice, alright? The guy's hard to hate unless you're a Birmingham City fan. I hate Gianfranco Zola, like, I'm sorry, but there was so many. I was sticking up for him for so long, and I got made to look like a mug. And at the end of the day, I had to hold my hands up and say, I can't defend him anymore. And I always try to defend people to the very end, and like, I just couldn't do it anymore. The breaking point for me was Rotherham away, and that was like the 4th last game of the season. No, that was before Burton. That was the 5th last game of the season. One more game and then he left, right? But oh my god, Zola, I needed to talk about this because I got a vent. You know what, Zola, I went to Rotherham away. Karim Fry scored that amazing free kick. Beautiful stuff. It runs into the crowd of players. Oh my god, it was brilliant. The scenes, it was some of the best scenes that I'd seen at Blues for a while, purely because of the absolute pressure it took off. We were like, oh, relief, because it was like the 70th minute or something. I can't remember exactly when it was. But yeah, I think it was around the 70th, 75th minute. And we were like, we needed to win this game. And Karim Fry delivered. We ended up drawing, obviously, because it's Birmingham City and it's Zola, right? And in this game, Djukovic... Oh my god, there's a massive fly! In this game, yeah, Djukovic went down injured. We'd made 2 subs, yeah. He went down injured. He pulled his hamstring or something, but he was carrying on. He was limping. The players were saying, just, mate, come off, get subbed. And he was like this, like... And then in the end, he full on went down and he was like, couldn't get back up, right? Right. And Zola subs Teshan, the midfielder, doesn't even realise he's on the floor injured. And we're all going, what's gone on? That's your last sub. And you're leaving an injured player on the pitch. Not only that, yeah. Not only that, at the end of the match, we were all fuming because we'd lost the lead. We'd let go of the lead. We drew 1-1. We could have lost the game, right? I don't know how. Oh. Okay. Zola walks from his dugout to the centre of the pitch, yeah? Bam. And then shakes the hands of the ref. Walks all the way back with his head down. Head down, right? He knows we're looking at him like, what's gone on? He doesn't even look at us to appreciate us, right? You hope that players and the manager would at least give you a round of applause for everything you've been through that season. He just didn't even look at us. I don't care how much full of shame you are. If you're that full of shame, yeah, you should have quit then. There and then, okay? You should have quit that day. But no, he doesn't. He comes out afterwards, right, and he goes, I'm not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. And why should I quit? You know why you should quit, Zola? You should quit because you're ruining the football club. He says he's not a quitter. And then we lose to Barnsley and he resigns. Now, I'm not sure how much the board were pushing him off this cliff, but he did resign in the end. I'm sorry for going on a big rant about Zola, but I had to get that out. I've not spoke about it properly before. But yeah, thank you, Harry Redknapp. I don't care what you do. You are a legend, Harry Redknapp, because you saved us from going down to League One with 3 games to go. You got up one morning, you were like, oh, go on in, I'll sort out Blues. He goes there, oh, you're alright, mate, you're alright, how you doing? She's chop, 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 blah. That kind of thing. And it just worked. Anyway, God, what am I talking about? Hurry! Redknapp. We've got Redknapp. I just don't think you understand, etc. I've got Blues to finish 10th because of the signings we've currently made, right? Now, I know we finished 10th 2 seasons in a row with a much worse team. I think we overachieved slightly. Not a lot. Slightly. I think 10th is a good sort of baseline for Birmingham because with the current team we've got, we don't have enough goal scorers. We've got a sick defence. We've got a really, really solid defence, but we don't have enough goal scorers. I believe that we're going to sign a goal scorer, and I believe that we're going to sign a couple of players, but at the minute, we are trying to get targets and they're going elsewhere. For whatever reason, it's not for a want to try and like Redknapp says, but I don't currently know the players we're going to get. I don't think anyone knows truly who we're going to get. But I think 10 is a good position because of how competitive the league is. I can't see us finishing much higher. In 9th place, I've got Norwich City. Now, they just sold Jacob Murphy, one of my FIFA 13 career mode legends. I think it might have been 14. Anyway, they've sold him to Newcastle for 12 million. So that will be a big loss to them. But a lot of people seem to think they're going to do really well this season. I've got them to finish 9th because I don't think really they have a strong enough squad to compete any higher than that. And that's about it for Norwich from me. Now, we're getting towards the juicy end of the table. Right, so who is going to just miss out on the playoffs? For me, in my opinion, I think Leeds are going to miss out again. I know they've got Chris Wood. He wasn't enough for them last season either, right? They have not made enough signings. They have not improved their squad enough. And in my opinion, the Championship is more competitive this season than it was last. So if you don't make improvements, you're going to get left behind. And I feel like with Leeds, they need to make improvements. They've signed Pontus Jansson, which is good, but Cole Bartley's gone back to Swansea. Now they're looking for that defensive replacement. I think they're going to get one, but where else are they going to strengthen? Because at the minute they're fighting to have the same team they had last year. And you've also got to hope that Chris Wood has the same season he did last year, because he was really good. He's got to relive that form. That's not guaranteed. Now the next team I've got to just finish out in the playoffs, just outside in 7th place, is Gary Rowett's Derby. Now, Birmingham fans have mixed opinions of Gary Rowett. I'm happy for what he did for Blues. People are gutted he left. Others are saying it was the right thing to do. Now, let's not fight between ourselves. That's done. We've got Redknapp now. I shouldn't have brought it up. I think he's building a solid squad and he's been smart with his transfers. He's not made many at the minute. He signed Curtis Davis, which is a big signing in defence. He signed Tom Huddleston, massive signing in midfield as well. Andre Wisdom as well. What a player. And I've just read here, they've had a £7 million bid rejected for Leicester forward Tom Lawrence. £7 million bid. So they're making, they're making bids. They're spending money. I don't think they're going to have quite enough. This is the juicy part of the video. This is the playoffs. Now, there's 6 teams left. 3 of them are going to be promoted. Who are they going to be? The 6th place, for me, is Reading. They're a strong side. They've got Yapstam as the manager. Solid manager. They're making a couple of signings. I can see them getting in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to do enough to get promoted, but they're going to have a good season again. Will they be happy with that? I'm not sure. But in 5th place, wow. The signings that this team has made, right? Crazy. Ruben Neves. Wolverhampton Wanderers just love spending money. I don't know where they're getting it from. I don't know how they're doing financial fair play rules. They're getting some really good loan players, right? And they're spending a lot of money. Let alone the team they had last season was so good. I'm not sure how they didn't do better last season, but they keep building, right? And I just see them getting the playoffs this year. I mean, with the team they've got, for them to not get the playoffs, it would be such a massive underachievement. They've spent our entire budget on Ruben Neves, and not only that, they've got 10 mil player, 15 mil player, 12 mil player. Just stop it, Wolverhampton. Alright. I wish we would sign players for 15 mil, 10 mil. We've got to sell for 1, 2 millers. I can see them getting into the final of the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win it or not. Next team in the playoffs for me are Sheffield Wednesday. Strong side last season. They just missed out, but I think they're going to get back in the playoffs again. Last season they had a decent season, and I can see them doing it again. I think they're a well-drilled championship team. I think they know the league. They've got a good squad and they're going to add to it, build on from last season. I can see them making a couple more signings, and that's why I've got them to finish 4th. Now, I'm not being biased, but I've put Villa 3rd. You can think what you want if I'm being biased or not, but I've had to put them all the way up in 3rd. Now, that's quite high. You know, they've got a good team. Hands up, they've got a good team. Right, they've spent a lot of money on their team, mainly last season. This season, they've had to sort of be a bit more... What's the term? They've had to be a bit more, you know, they've had to put more thought into the transfers, because I think before they were going, here, have some money, you have some money, getting loads of players, right? They've got Jonathan Kodjo, who's one of the best strikers in the Championship. They've got a ridiculous amount of depth in the squad. Yeah, for Villa, right, they could get top 2, but I'm hoping they don't. What I think's going to happen is they'll have a good... They're going to have a good portion of the season where they're up there and they're up in the top 1, 2, 3, the top 3 positions. But I think if they stumble, pressure's going to be put on them immediately. If they have a bit of a run when they don't perform for whatever reason, Kodjo gets injured. It's a lot harder for them to score goals. Like last season without Kodjo, they couldn't score. Right, the pressure gets put on them, and it's like, the fans turn very quickly. If you're a Villa fan, would you take 3rd place? Or are you desperate to get the top 2? Automatic promotion. Now, out of Villa, Sheffield Wednesday, Wolves and Reading, I'm going to say Villa and Wolves final. Now, that'd be a nice little... That would be a cheeky little final. Wolves like to think it's a derby between them and Villa, or them and us. It's not. Alright, it's just not. You're Wolves. You ain't got a derby. But that will be interesting. And it'll be fierce, and it'll be good to watch. Let's just say Wolves to go up on penalties, just because I don't like Villa. Top 2 now. So we've got Borough and Fulham left. I've got Fulham to finish 2nd and Borough to finish in 1st place. Now, Borough have got the strongest squad in the league. Fulham seem to be improving, and they surprised me a bit last season. They're a good Championship side, and they're making some signings. They've got Tom Kearney, who's class in midfield. I can see Fulham getting 2nd. Could we just talk about Middlesbrough's signings, though? Like Britta Sombalonga, Martin Braithwaite. Oh, my God. They signed Ashley Fletcher as well from West Ham. They have got a good Prem side that's gone down. They've lost a couple of players, obviously. Negredo. Yeah, they've lost a couple of players, but I think they are such a good side, and they really should do this season what Newcastle did last season, or what they should have done. Like, they should have walked away with it. I think they're going to walk away with it a little bit. It could be funny looking back at this, but I do think they're going to top of the league. 1st place. I'm going to end this video here, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me your predictions. What is your top 6? What's your bottom 3? Where do you think Birmingham are going to finish? Where do you think your team are going to finish? And let me know why. It'll give me a bit more of an insight. Anyway, in the upcoming season, I'm going to be trying to vlog every single game of the season. I had great support with the Oxford vlog, and it just, it really helped, because it was good to get positive feedback. So, thank you. Thank you for that. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you are new. Let me know about your team and your predictions in the comments, and I will see you guys in the match day vlog for the first game of the season. Now, that should be out on Monday at about probably 6 PM on Monday. So make sure you check that video out as well. For now, though, I will see you next time. Up the Blues.